Hi everybody, this is Brianna Nasons, and today I'm going to be presenting my SDC project, Do Creative Lesson Plans Increase Reading Comprehension for ERSH 7500E with Dr. Grantham. Okay, my intended focus for my project was to study the influence of creative teaching methods on student reading comprehension. My research question was, do creative teaching methods influence student reading comprehension scores? And a few other questions I looked at in the meantime were, what teaching methods are liked by students? Are students more engaged with creative methods? And how does student engagement influence reading comprehension? My ultimate goal here was to create lesson plans that engage students more in reading and therefore improve their comprehension. Okay, so a little background on my data collection. I collected my data from a group of second and third grade students that participate in an after-school program where they focus on reading enrichment to improve fluency and comprehension. The data collection occurred from March 10th to March 31st. So to do this, I measured student comprehension scores from different weeks where teaching styles differed, and I'll have more information on that on the next slide. I held end of the week comprehension interviews that covered readings from the week. The first 2 weeks of assessment resulted from traditional reading enrichment program, which consisted of pair reading, choral reading, and echo reading. The second 2 weeks of assessment resulted from an enhanced program that added Kahoot, which is an online gaming platform. So before I began, I did some reconnaissance where I studied journal articles on the use of creative methods to improve engagement in the classroom and to find out which methods would work best, which is where I found articles on Kahoot. I collected field notes during my observation in both the traditional and enhanced program, and I gave students a survey to describe their thoughts and feelings towards using the enhanced versus traditional program. And a little side note is, out of the 9 students in the program, only 6 were present for all 4 weeks of comprehension evaluations, so that, limited my data just a little bit. Okay, and this is what I use to score my students on their comprehension each week. And during my interviews with them, I would just talk to them about 4 different vocabulary items and 4 open-ended questions. And I would rate their knowledge on those questions I asked them. Basically, they got 0 points for each if they had no clue. If they had a basic knowledge, basically if they could give me a rough idea of what they were talking about, I would give them 1 point. And if they had advanced knowledge where they knew either the exact definition or exactly what I was asking them, they got 2 points. Again, all student interviews were recorded for review at later times, so I was not making this up on the fly. I did go back and review all of this. My expectations for this, based on my prior research and the natural tendencies of my students, was I did really expect that not only would they like the enhanced program more, but also be more engaged and more likely to comprehend their readings and express that comprehension in a face-to-face interview. And this is the student survey I gave. This is probably more adult looking for you guys, but I used smiley faces and sad faces to kind of help them understand what this meant. But I went through a whole bunch of questions that included, Kahoot made them feel more excited, they liked reading time more when using it, it made them more competitive, or if it made them feel sad, they felt like they learned more, or if they felt anxious, and to see if they liked reading time better without playing it to kind of even the scores out, make sure they weren't all just sitting in the middle. And I also asked them if they thought Kahoot helped them understand more of what they were learning and if they wanted to play it more during reading time. And then one of my bigger questions was, did Kahoot make them feel more involved in their readings? And here are my results after 4 weeks of data collection. For the comprehension, on average, the student scored a total of 3 points higher for reading comprehension on weeks where Kahoot was played in comparison to weeks where no games were played along with the readings. I did note the students who went from having no knowledge at least advanced to having basic knowledge, and those who had basic knowledge moved to the advanced knowledge level, looking like they were bumping up a level from the non-gaming to gaming platform. These results were very encouraging and showed that students were retaining more knowledge, even if it was just a little, when they were more engaged. I felt like this supported my idea that more creative teaching methods could improve comprehension scores. And for the student survey notes, from my observations, students appeared more engaged and less frustrated during class sessions where Kahoot was used. And the results from the student survey seemed to agree with my observations. 89% of my students agreed that using Kahoot made them feel more excited, and they wanted to play it more often during reading time. While students did not believe that they learned more during Kahoot, they did agree that they better understood what they were learning, which was my goal. And competition, I did notice, seemed to be a bigger factor in boys, which not surprising, and the girls tended to be a lot more anxious, but at this age I wasn't too shocked by that outcome. So some reflection. I noted that collecting data with young students is very hard because their mood and temper can swing from, happy to sad in a matter of 5 minutes. It's really important to find out what won't work early on. Very early on in this, I tried a few methods that I immediately rejected because I realized the students weren't going to cooperate with me. And I learned to go into my research with a concrete idea of exactly what I was looking for, and that I should record absolutely everything that happens. I also really had to focus on keeping measures consistent because even though the students' reading changed each week, I had to keep my measures incredibly consistent for this data collection. I will continue more onto this in my ARP discussion because this is what I did for my final project. But I think that's all I have for you guys right now. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you really enjoyed it. And if you have any questions or comments, feel free to email me on ELC or leave a comment on my SDC discussion post. Thanks. Have a great end of the semester, guys.